Renewable Technologies Limited.
Absolutely.
You've sent us financial reports, investor presentations,
Oh, wow.
even a fresh credit rating.
That's great.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you're serious about understanding this company.
It seemed like...
Let's dive in and see what we can uncover together.
Great. So we're talking about a company that's really right at the heart of India's solar energy boom.
Yeah.
They're in the EPC business, that's engineering, procurement, and construction. So they're handling the whole process of building these large-scale solar power plants.
Oh, wow.
And the sources you've provided give us a really great 360-degree view of kind of where they stand today.
Okay, so picture this. India is making this huge push towards renewable energy, aiming for 500 gigawatts by 2030.
Yeah, very ambitious.
And Waaree RTL's financials. They're glowing in the dark. We're talking revenue jump of almost 150% last fiscal year.
Yeah.
Landing them at 876.44 crores.
That's significant.
That's not just growth. That's
huge.
That's momentum.
It is. And it's not just about chasing big numbers, though. They're actually doing this with really impressive profitability.
Yeah.
So that 10.63% profit after tax margin really tells me that they're not just riding the wave, they're kind of steering the ship very carefully and with good financial management.
Right.
So it's definitely the kind of performance that makes investors kind of sit up and take notice.
Absolutely. But the question for you is, does this translate into a golden investment opportunity?
Exactly.
Well, to answer that, we need to dig deeper into their market position.
Okay.
We know they've got a massive 2.1 gigawatts worth of projects that are signed and ready to go.
Right.
Plus a pipeline bursting with another 15.5 gigawatts.
Wow. And they're not just winning bids to build these plants either. They're also snapping up these contracts for long-term operations and maintenance.
Oh.
And that's a subtle detail, but it's actually really significant. Because securing the O&M contracts means that Waaree RTL is very confident in the quality and the longevity of their projects.
Right.
It also means that they're locking in a steady stream of revenue for years to come.
Right.
So it's a win-win for both the company and potentially for you as an investor.
Yeah, and here's another thing that they've got going for them. They're not going at it alone.
Yeah.
They have the backing of their parent company, Waaree Energies, which is a global player with a very, very rock-solid balance sheet.
Yeah, so it's like having a seasoned expert kind of in your corner, right? This relationship gives Waaree RTL access to this really diverse network of suppliers, which can really translate into cost savings and just smoother operations. And not to mention, they can leverage existing customer relationships and tap into Waaree Energy's global expertise. So that's definitely a competitive edge that can't be ignored.
And speaking of competitive edge, they're also planning to massively expand their module manufacturing capacity.
Really?
We're talking 21 gigawatts.
Wow.
By bringing more of this manufacturing in-house, they're aiming to gain tighter control over their costs and supply chains.
Yes.
It's a bold move. I mean, it could really pay off in the long run.
I mean, that's where your own investment philosophy kind of comes into play.
Yeah.
How do you feel about vertical integration?
Yeah.
On the one hand, it can offer greater stability, potentially higher margins. But on the other hand, it requires a significant upfront investment, right?
Yeah.
Can tie up a lot of capital, so it's really a trade-off that every investor needs to weigh carefully.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves and start popping champagne just yet.
Right.
Every investment comes with risks.
Of course.
And the solar industry is definitely no exception. I mean, think about it. Sourcing components from all over the world means that you're exposed to potential supply chain disruptions.
Absolutely.
And let's not forget about the pressure to stay ahead of the technology curve.
Yeah, that's right.
In this rapidly evolving field.
So, I mean, they're not blind to these challenges, though.
Right.
Waaree RTL clearly acknowledges these risks in their reports.
Yeah.
And they really emphasize the importance of accurate project cost estimations.
Okay.
And they're also being very proactive about mitigating potential construction hiccups. And they highlight their commitment to continuous R&D.
Right.
But it does beg the question, do their strategies instill confidence in you?
Right.
Or do you see red flags that require further investigation?
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
So don't just take our word for it. Use this deep dive as a springboard.
Exactly.
To dig deeper into the areas that really resonate most with your own investment strategy.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the people at the helm.
All right.
Waaree RTL recently reappointed Mr. Pujan Doshi as managing director
Okay.
for another 5 years, signaling a commitment to continuity and leadership.
Yeah, so that's a good sign
Yeah.
for investors who really value that kind of stability.
Right. And the board of directors is not just there for show.
No.
They've established several committees that are dedicated to, areas like auditing, risk management, ensuring ethical practices.
Dang.
And these committees act as a safeguard,
Right.
promoting transparency and accountability.
Yeah, which can really boost investor confidence.
Yeah, speaking of confidence, let's talk about that shiny new credit rating.
All right.
Waaree RTL just received an IND A stable rating
Yeah.
from India Ratings for their bank loan facilities.
Very good.
Now, for those who don't speak credit rating lingo, this basically means
Right.
they've got strong creditworthiness
Yeah.
and a good track record of meeting their financial obligations.
Right. So it's like an important piece of the puzzle, but you have to remember it's just one piece.
Yeah.
Right. So never rely solely on these external assessments.
Right.
Always dig deeper, look at the company's financials, and really form your own conclusions.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right.
Now, before we wrap up this first part of our deep dive,
Okay.
there's one more thing I want to kind of highlight here.
Okay.
Where RTL doesn't just talk about profits and growth,
Yeah.
they also emphasize the importance of sustainability
Yeah, that's great.
and social responsibility.
Yeah.
Their annual report is filled with initiatives that are focused on ethical business practices,
Right.
employee well-being, and even environmental conservation.
Well, that's a trend that we're seeing more and more, and it raises an interesting question for you.
Yeah.
How much weight do you give to a company's ESG performance when you're making your investment decisions?
Yeah, that's right.
That's environmental, social, and governance. And, for many investors, it's becoming a really crucial factor, right?
It is.
Ensuring that their investments are aligning with their values.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's definitely something to consider.
Right.
As we continue our deep dive,
Yeah.
we've covered a lot of ground already.
It seems like it.
Getting a feel for Waaree RTL's financial performance,
Uh-huh.
their position in the Indian solar market,
Right.
and even peeking into their strategic advantages.
Yeah, but this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, because in the next part, we're really going to roll up our sleeves and dive headfirst into these financial statements.
Oh, okay.
Get ready for a deep dive into the balance sheet, cash flow, and key financial ratios.
Yeah.
All the juicy details that will help you paint a really clear picture of their financial health.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. Welcome back. All right, we're about to get our hands dirty.
Okay.
We're digging into Waaree RTL's financial reports here, those consolidated financial statements, for the fiscal year ending March 31, 2024.
Okay.
Remember, we're looking at the whole picture here, subsidiaries and all.
Okay, so time to put on our financial detective hats.
That's right.
When you crack open that balance sheet,
Yeah.
what's the first clue that kind of jumps out at you?
Well, the shareholders' funds tell quite a story, right?
Okay.
We're looking at a leap from 129.97 crores to a staggering euro 318.15 crores in just 1 year.
Whoa.
So that's not just a nudge in the right direction, it's a full-on sprint.
Okay, color me intrigued. What's fueling this financial rocket ship?
Well, their retained earnings are definitely playing a starring role here.
Okay.
Remember that impressive 175.29% surge in profit after tax that we talked about?
Yeah.
A big chunk of those profits is being plowed back into the company, strengthening their equity base.
So it's like they're reinvesting their winnings to build an even bigger, better game.
Exactly.
But wait, didn't they also pay out a dividend?
You're right, they did.
Okay.
Where RTL struck a balance,
Okay.
rewarding shareholders with a final dividend of €1 per share for a total payout of 1,041.49 lakhs.
Wow.
So they're keeping investors happy while they're fueling these ambitious growth plans.
Okay.
It's a tightrope walk,
Yeah.
but they seem to be managing it pretty well.
Now let's talk about something that often keeps investors up at night, and that is debt.
Sure.
How's Waaree RTL looking in that department?
This might actually surprise you.
Fair.
Their debt levels are surprisingly low.
Really?
Yeah, we're talking a total borrowing of 4,118.34 lakhs,
Okay.
which translates to this minuscule debt-to-equity ratio of 0.04.
Wow, so it's like they're practically allergic to debt.
It seems that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a breath of fresh air in an industry
Right.
that's known for its capital-intensive projects.
Exactly.
It seems like they're strategically using internal funds to power their growth
Right.
and minimizing their reliance on, borrowed money.
Yeah, very smart.
Smart move, right.
Absolutely. This low debt burden gives them a level of financial flexibility that most companies would really envy. They're less vulnerable to interest rate fluctuations.
Right.
And they have more room to maneuver when making strategic decisions. So it's definitely a signal of financial prudence that I think should resonate with, those risk-averse investors.
All right. So time to turn the page and delve into their cash flow statement.
Right.
What kind of narrative is this document whispering to us?
Well, the headline here is their cash flow from operations.
Okay.
It's bursting with vitality.
Okay.
They've generated a robust 1,591.96 lakhs.
Wow.
From their core business activities, a significant leap from the previous year.
So they're not just profitable on paper, they're actually generating the cash.
Exactly, and that's the lifeblood of a company like Waaree RTL, right?
Yeah.
They need a steady stream of cash to fund these huge construction projects, keep their expansion plans rolling.
Right, so where's all this cash flowing?
Well, a big chunk is being plowed right back into the business.
Putting their money where their mouth is. Tell me more.
Yeah, we're looking at 6,173.01 lakhs invested in fixed assets.
Great.
Primarily in plant and equipment.
Okay.
This aligns perfectly with their ambitious capacity expansion plans. I mean, they're not just talking the talk.
Right.
They're walking the walk.
And let's not forget about debt management. Are they using this influx of cash to chip away at their already low borrowings?
Absolutely. They've paid down a 1,600 lakhs in borrowings during the year.
Wow.
Further solidifying their balance sheet, they're building a financial fortress brick by brick.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So far, the story their financials are telling is one of growth, prudence, and strategic execution.
I agree.
But let's zoom in even further and examine those all-important financial ratios.
Okay.
What are the key metrics that are really catching your eye?
Well, let's start with profitability, right?
That's always a crowd pleaser.
It is. Their return on capital employed, or ROCE, is a jaw-dropping 73.56%.
Wow.
That's not just good, it's phenomenal. It really indicates that they're squeezing every ounce of value out of the capital that's invested in the business.
It's like they've discovered the financial equivalent of a perpetual motion machine.
That's right.
And what about their net profit margin? Is it keeping pace with this impressive ROCE?
Absolutely. Their net profit margin stands at a very healthy 17.17%.
Okay.
Demonstrating their ability to really keep those costs in check while maintaining really strong profitability.
Okay.
They're proving that growth and efficiency can go hand in hand.
Okay, so they're acing profitability.
Yeah.
But what about their ability to meet those short-term obligations?
Right.
Are there any liquidity concerns kind of lurking beneath the surface?
Well, their current ratio, which measures their short-term financial strength, stands at 1.39.
Okay.
It's slightly down from the previous year, but it's still comfortably within a healthy range. They have more than enough liquid assets on hand to cover their immediate liabilities.
Okay, that's reassuring. It means they're not going to be caught off guard by any sudden financial hiccups.
Exactly.
Now, for our final financial ratio analysis, let's look at their ability to kind of handle their debt load.
Sure. Their debt service coverage ratio, or DSCR, is a staggering 218.07.
Wow, that's huge.
It basically means they have a mountain of operating income to cover their debt obligations.
Okay.
It's another testament to their financial discipline and their commitment to maintaining this low-risk profile.
Wow, those are some seriously impressive numbers.
Yeah.
So putting it all together, what's your expert verdict on Waaree RTL's overall financial health?
They're in peak condition.
Okay.
We're looking at a robust balance sheet, cash flow that's practically overflowing, and profitability margins that would make any investor drool.
Right.
They're managing their debt with a level of prudence that's almost unheard of in this industry.
But as we always remind our listeners,
yes,
past performance doesn't guarantee future success. It's important to recognize that external factors, competitive pressures, and these unforeseen risks can always throw a wrench into the works.
Absolutely. That's why we always encourage listeners to do their own due diligence.
Yeah.
Consider the broader economic context and really weigh the potential risks against the potential rewards.
Right.
And speaking of which, let's revisit that IND stable credit rating we discussed earlier.
Okay.
How did that fit into this financial puzzle we've been putting together?
Well, it's like that independent stamp of approval validating everything we've uncovered in our deep dive.
Right.
That rating from India Ratings just adds another layer of credibility to Waaree RTL's financial statements.
Exactly.
It reassures potential investors that they're dealing with, a financially sound,
Right.
reliable company.
And that stable outlook suggests that the rating agency isn't anticipating any major financial upheavals on the horizon.
Right.
They're expecting Waaree RTL to maintain their current financial strength for the foreseeable future.
So we've scrutinized their financials, dissected their ratios,
Yeah.
and even thrown in a credit rating for good measure. From a purely numbers perspective,
Yeah.
Waaree RTL seems to be ticking all the right boxes.
It seems that way.
But as you wisely pointed out earlier,
Yeah.
investment decisions should never be based solely on numbers.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's all about aligning those numbers with your personal investment goals
Yeah.
and your tolerance for risk, right?
Right.
Do Waaree RTL's growth prospects, their financial strength, and their commitment to sustainability resonate with your own investment philosophy?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
And it's one that each listener really needs to answer for themselves.
For sure.
This deep dive has equipped you with the knowledge and insights to make a more informed decision.
Absolutely.
But remember, this is just the beginning of your research journey.
Now, in the final part of our deep dive, we're going to kind of shift our focus from the nitty-gritty financials to the broader landscape. We'll explore Waaree RTL's position within the vibrant Indian solar market, the competitive dynamics that really shape their world, and we'll get a glimpse of what the future might hold for this rapidly evolving industry.
All right, welcome back to the final part of our deep dives into the world of Waaree Renewable Technologies Limited.
Yeah.
We've really examined their financials, from the balance sheet to those really important ratios.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey.
Yeah, now it's time to widen the lens a little bit.
Right.
And see where Waaree RTL fits into the grand scheme of India's booming solar market.
Exactly. I mean, the exciting thing here is that Waaree RTL isn't just operating in a growing market.
Right.
They're really riding a tidal wave, right?
Yeah.
India's aiming for a staggering 500 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity by 2030.
That's huge.
With solar power playing this leading role. So this isn't just a national goal.
Right.
It's a complete transformation of India's energy landscape.
Exactly. I mean, we touched on this a bit earlier, but I think it's worth emphasizing just how massive this opportunity is.
Yeah.
For companies like Waaree RTL, I mean, they're not just building solar power plants. They're really laying the foundation.
Absolutely.
For a cleaner, more sustainable future for India.
Yeah, but it's not all smooth sailing, is it?
Right.
The solar industry is kind of notorious for its fierce competition and relentless innovation.
You're absolutely right. I mean, the solar industry is this dynamic, ever-evolving beast. I mean, companies are constantly pushing the boundaries of technology.
Absolutely.
Driving down costs.
Yeah.
Searching for that next big breakthrough.
And this is where Waaree RTL's strategic advantages really come into play, right?
Yeah.
Their strong supplier relationships, their planned expansion in module manufacturing, and their focus on securing those long-term O&M contracts.
Yeah.
All of these position them to not just survive, but to thrive in this competitive arena.
And let's not forget about the strength and stability that they gain from their parent company, Waaree Energies.
Absolutely. That's a huge advantage, right?
Yeah, I mean, that relationship provides them with the financial backing, global network, a well-established brand reputation. I mean, all crucial assets in a market.
Yes.
That's attracting players from all over the world.
That's right.
But to truly understand Waaree RTL's future prospects, we kind of need to look beyond their individual strengths.
Right.
And consider the broader trends shaping the Indian solar market.
Yeah.
So what are some of the key developments that are catching your eye?
Well, one trend that's really gaining momentum is the rise of distributed solar generation, especially rooftop solar.
Okay.
While Waaree RTL has traditionally focused on those massive utility-scale projects, they're starting to kind of dip their toes into this growing segment.
It makes sense, right? I mean, they're diversifying their portfolio, tapping into a wider customer base.
Aligning themselves with the global push towards, localized power generation.
Right.
It's like they're weaving this more intricate tapestry of solar solutions.
Yes, it's a smart move.
What else is on the horizon?
Well, Another game changer is the integration of energy storage solutions, particularly batteries,
Okay.
into solar projects.
Right.
Now, this addresses one of the biggest challenges of solar power,
Okay.
and that is its intermittency.
Right.
So by pairing these solar panels with batteries,
Right.
companies can ensure a more reliable and consistent flow of energy,
Right.
even when the sun's not shining.
That's a huge leap forward.
Yeah,
It makes solar energy even more viable alternative to traditional fossil fuels.
absolutely.
And it opens up a whole new world of possibilities for powering homes, businesses,
Yeah,
I mean, even entire communities.
right.
So does Waaree RTL seem ready to ride this wave of energy storage innovation?
They seem to be well positioned to capitalize on this trend. They have the technical know-how.
They have the financial resources to seamlessly integrate energy storage into their projects.
Right.
So it's another example of their forward-thinking approach
Yeah.
and their ability to really adapt to the ever-changing demands of the market.
Yeah, it sounds like they're taking all the right steps
Yeah.
to secure their future in this really exciting and rapidly evolving industry.
Right.
But let's not shy away from the potential challenges.
Yeah, of course.
What are some of the headwinds that could slow down their progress?
Well, we've already discussed the global supply chain risks
Right.
that kind of loom over the entire solar industry.
Yeah.
Any disruptions or price volatility in the component market
Right.
could really impact their project costs
Right.
and squeeze their profit margins.
They're not naive to these risks, though.
No, they're not.
I mean, their reports emphasize the importance of building strong supplier relationships
Yeah.
and diversifying their sourcing strategies. It's like they're
Just
creating a
setup.
safety net to cushion themselves against potential supply chain shocks.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So, are there any other potential roadblocks on the horizon?
Yeah, I think another challenge that's often overlooked is the regulatory landscape in India.
Oh, yeah.
While the government is generally supportive of renewable energy,
Right.
policy changes or bureaucratic delays
Yeah.
in project approvals could create some uncertainty
Yeah.
and impact project timelines.
Yeah, that's a crucial point. It highlights the importance of staying agile,
Right.
closely monitoring policy developments,
Yeah,
and proactively engaging with regulators to kind of navigate
exactly.
those potential roadblocks.
And of course, we can't forget the relentless pace of technological advancement.
Yeah, that's true.
The solar industry is in a constant state of innovation, right?
Right.
Companies like Waaree RTL need to invest heavily in research and development,
Uh-huh.
forge strategic partnerships,
Yeah.
and just stay ahead of the curve to avoid being left behind. It's a high-stakes race,
Yeah.
but it's also incredibly exciting, right?
Yeah.
Each breakthrough has the potential to make solar energy even more efficient,
Right.
more affordable,
Yeah.
and more accessible.
So, taking all this into account,
Yeah.
the massive growth potential, the competitive dynamics,
Yep.
and the ever-present risks,
Right.
what's your overall outlook for Waaree RTL
Yeah.
and the Indian solar market?
Well, I'm cautiously optimistic, I'd say.
Okay.
You know, the growth potential is undeniable.
Yeah.
And Waaree RTL seems to have the right mix of experience, financial strength,
Right.
and strategic vision to seize this opportunity. And you know what? They're not just a company. They're a potential catalyst.
Right.
For India's energy transformation, they're building the infrastructure that will power homes,
Yeah.
businesses, entire communities with
Yeah.
clean and sustainable energy.
Yeah. That's pretty exciting.
It is. That's a vision worth investing in.
But, as always, we really encourage you to do your own research.
Right.
Weigh the risks and rewards.
Of course.
And make informed decisions
Absolutely.
that align with your own, investment goals and your risk tolerance.
Exactly. So this deep dive has given you a really comprehensive overview
It has.
of Waaree RTL, from their financial performance to their place in the Indian solar market.
Yeah.
We've explored their strengths, their challenges, the broader trends shaping their future.
Yeah.
Now it's up to you to connect the dots, ask
Maybe.
the right questions, and chart your own course.
We hope this journey has really provided you with valuable insights
I think so.
and inspired you to dig a little deeper
Yes.
into the fascinating world of renewable energy.
Absolutely.
Remember, every investment is a bet on the future.
That's right.
And with Waaree RTL, you're not just betting on a company.
Right.
You're betting on a cleaner, brighter, and more sustainable future
Yeah.
for India and for the world.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.